Hey guys, welcome back to the BuzWeaver channel, and in our top stories today, without a doubt, the biggest story in the world, one could argue, from NPR, that would be National Public Radio, or as we know it here on the BuzWeaver channel as not pro-Republican. Inauguration Day 2025, Trump addresses supporters, Biden bids farewell. That's right, the Establishment Uni-party selected president is bidding farewell, and now we have an elected by the people president, Donald J. Trump, because as we saw, and as we have talked about here on the BuzWeaver channel, essentially for at least the last 8 years, about how the establishment, the Democrats, the Trump detractors have pursued Donald Trump with lawfare, with smear tactics, with despicable and obnoxious tabloid news articles, all to turn him into a one-dimensional villain and, of course, convince as many people as possible not to vote for him. Donald Trump and J.D. Vance have taken the oath of office in front of family, elected officials, former presidents, and business leaders at a ceremony in the Capitol Rotunda. Trump has signaled he will sign a slew of executive orders later, including ones to end birthright citizenship, recognize only two sexes, and declare an emergency at the border. So, what we voted him for was essentially the return of sanity. Because if you look at what he's going to reverse in these executive orders, these were where the Democrats were focusing all of their attention, usually with selective groups of Americans. Now, I believe that we should all be treated equally, which is what we're supposed to be treated. But according to Democrats, without the Democrats' help, without the Democrats' influence, minorities and others could not succeed. Imagine how undignified that must be. Imagine certain groups of individuals here in America having to operate under the idea that they can't succeed without Democrats. Absolutely extraordinary. Here's what else to watch. And, of course, most of you have probably selected your own programming that you want to see. And as of right now, as of this recording, it's just past 3:41 Eastern time here. But you can see they're continuing on with the inauguration and the events and functions that are taking place. And we move over here to, I just wanted to go down through that earlier. Wait a minute. Why is it up? Okay, why is it down here? Okay, this is acting strange. Wait a minute. Let me refresh this. Should not be. Here we go. It should not have been down here. Oh, I see what it's doing. It's live updating. Okay. Well, we'll move on to the Gray Lady, also known as the New York Times. Live updates. Trump plans to sign close to 100 executive orders. Once inaugurated, President Trump plans to sharply redirect federal policy on immigration, the federal workforce, energy and the environment, the economy and trade, gender issues and diversity, equity and inclusion. And as we said a moment ago, these are, of course, selective areas that the Democrats focused on because that's what they do. So among the orders he is expected to sign, according to incoming White House officials, are a national emergency declaration at the border, allowing the deployment of troops, and a natural energy emergency enabling the country to generate more energy to power artificial intelligence. Of course, it's not going to be limited to artificial intelligence, I can assure you. Mr. Trump is also expected to sign orders designating cartel organizations as global terrorists and ending asylum and birthright citizenship, despite the Constitution's guarantee of citizenship for those born in the United States. Of course, they're all trying to use the language already against Donald Trump, and I can imagine now children in cages, these sorts of things, child separation, selective racial component decisions by Trump. So I can imagine all these things are going to come up in future articles. But of course, you know me, BuzWeaver, here on the YouTube BuzWeaver channels. You know that my support for Donald Trump was to address a lot of what is going on with the Establishment Uni-party within the Democrats and, of course, their coordinated assets that they have throughout government and throughout our country. That is who I am focusing on when it comes to Donald Trump. Now, of course, the economy and the stability of our country, the safety of our citizens, what's going on internationally are all very important. But my personal penchant is that persnickety selection is him going after the Establishment Uni-party. That's just my honest opinion. You can clearly say that I am biased towards that, but that's what it is. Trump is set to sign a slew of executive orders, as we saw on day one. What are his priorities? In other words, what is he reversing that the Democrats have done? So President Donald Trump has promised a flurry of executive actions on day one. and they are executive orders already prepared for his signature. Those orders will end diversity, equity, and inclusion, as we just talked about, crack down on border crossings. We heard that. So America first. Trump will sign an order renaming the Gulf of Mexico, making it the Gulf of America, and the highest mountain in North America, now known as Mount Denali, will revert back to Mount McKinley, its name until President Barack Hussein Obama changed it. The renaming is to honor American greatness, according to a preview of the orders posted online by Trump's incoming press secretary. I wanted to see those, actually. He signed an order that flags must be at full height. This was in relation to Jimmy Carter's recent death and the flags at half-staff, so I'm sure they'll make a big deal about that. Immigration. Much of the executive action on the border is ripped from Trump's first-term playbook. He will declare a national emergency at the U.S.-Mexico border, as he should. And then, of course, birthright citizenship. And, of course, he's got many of his admins working for him that are going to address that, including Tom Homan, which should be very interesting. And, of course, the economy. Trump is set to sign orders to ease regulatory burdens on oil and natural gas. So there you go with the energy emergency, including an order tied to Alaska, and he'll sign a moratorium seeking a broad-based government approach to bring down inflation, but he appears to be holding off at the moment on his threat to issue tariffs on China, Mexico, Canada, and other countries, or should I say China. He also appears to be holding off on higher taxes on imports with an incoming official pointing reporters to Wall Street Journal story, saying he will only sign a moratorium telling federal agencies to study trade issues. So it's going to be interesting how he's going to balance all that out. Diversity, equity, and inclusion, and gender rights. Wow. This was a gigantic, very big, or as they say up north, huge thing that the Democrats were pushing, of course. DEI, as they call it, because they like their acronyms. Trump is rolling back protections for transgender people and terminating diversity. Now, this is not to suggest that transgender people or LGBTQ individuals or others are going to be targets for people to be able to go after. That is not the intent. That is not the idea here. As I say, they are my fellow Americans, and so they are entitled to their rights under our Constitution, the Bill of Rights. You know, they have the rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So I am not saying in any way that they should be targeted, okay? I'm not suggesting that any harm or others should come to them because of their orientation, as it were. Both are major shifts for the federal policy and are in line with Trump's campaign trail promises. One order would declare that the federal government would recognize only two immutable sexes, and that's correct, male and female, and they're to be defined based on whether people are born with eggs or sperm, as opposed to XX or XY, rather than their chromosomes. Okay, well, I just answered my own question. According to details in the upcoming order. So that's a very interesting way to define it. And, of course, pardons in the January 6th U.S. Capitol attack, which was yet another leveraging point, because as we have talked about here on the BuzWeaver channel, ad nauseum, to many of you who stick around to the channel, the dedicated subscribers to the channel, we have tolerated my constant reminder that the Senate acquitted Donald Trump, yet they never discussed it beyond the point of that particular article or articles written on that particular day. Trump also is promising to pardon those convicted in the January 6, 2020 attack on the U.S. Capitol, but he didn't mention that in his inaugural speech. In remarks to an overflow crowd after his inaugural address, he didn't include the pardon in his speech. It's actions, not words, that count, and you're going to see a lot of action, he said. And absolutely energy, of course, drill, baby, drill. Trump will declare an emergency, Trump will declare an emergency, an energy emergency, as he promises to drill, baby, drill. As he says, he will eliminate what he calls Biden's electric vehicle mandate. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I am enthusiastic. I am excited. I am pumped. I am all of the particular additional adjectives that you could add to a sense of joy and happiness. And was not happy with Donald Trump when it comes to TikTok. Because, of course, I have my own. Well, see, when it comes to Donald Trump and Elon Musk, or J.D. Vance in that case, they're welcome on TikTok because, of course, they have influence and they have popularity. And that's basically what TikTok is based around, is popularity, what's influential, what's trending. And, of course, I've been suspended twice. The first time was simply posting the jury instructions that Judge Merchan outlined, the novel jury instructions that were absurd and ridiculous. That was from an X post. And then, of course, a video that I did on Judge Merchan's prosecutorial misconduct, which led to my second suspension on TikTok. So I did and expressed myself quite vocally across every post I saw by Donald Trump and others when it came to TikTok on my suspension, and even gave them an image of the two infractions, the overwhelmingly terrible things I posted that caused me to be suspended from TikTok. So I have that little bit of a rub against Donald Trump when it comes to that. But nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, I see a return to sanity to the United States of America. And not so much of a pushback from the left. And I think a lot of that has to come from the fact that he won the popular vote. They do like to argue about it not being a mandate. And that's simply because, well, they don't want it to be a mandate. So in other words, because he won the popular vote, to them, that is America, completely shutting down their nonsense, right? The Americans are not tolerating, they are not supporting, they are not promoting, they are not on board with the left's ideology, philosophy, and worldview. So they have been muted. So they have their issues and they have their problems, but they realize now that the majority has spoken. They have to accept it. They have to realize it. Donald Trump is now the president. And I could not be happier. You guys will have to let me know down in the comments. Are you relieved? Are you happy? Are you looking forward to the future because of the great things that are going to happen in our country, returning it to sanity, as I like to say? But I'm very curious how it's going to impact me as a content creator across, because it is my business. It is what I do. It is my business. So naturally, I'm going to be concerned about it, right? Just like everyone is going to be concerned about their grocery bills, their expenses, their utility bills, all these sorts of things that had all gone up during the Biden admin, or should I say during the Establishment Uni-party surrogate President Biden admin. But I do appreciate all of your guys' support on the channel. I hope it's going to continue to get better across all social media. And, of course, you guys on BitChute, Rumble, and Odyssey. I appreciate all of your guys' support. So thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen who have been a part of the channel all this time. I am looking forward to 2025. And as I said, let me know down in the comments below the things that you are looking forward to, the things that you are happy about, the things that motivate you, things that are just giving you that sense of energy and enthusiasm about Donald Trump becoming the elected president of the United States. Thank you to all of you here on YouTube, appearing there on the screen. That will be the channel icon. You guys can click on that to subscribe, as well as to select notifications. That way you know when there's content here on the channel. And I'll see all you guys in the next video.